Hey everyone, I want to talk about some of the problem solving issues that I faced on my journey. A lot of the problem solving issues that a lot of people face, if not everyone, and why so many people misunderstand when it comes to rumination. There's a lot of articles out there that say rumination is automatic. It's a compulsion. They don't understand the automatic component. I always say anytime someone says just very blanket, rumination is a compulsion, they really do not understand OCD at all. Because the majority of people's rumination is extremely automatic. Then they add solving on top of that. I always use the example of dominoes. If you're playing dominoes, you have a couple chain links. That's the automatic rumination. Thoughts, images, sensation, urges, and then you're adding onto the chain by talking back and having an internal dialogue in your mind, and that becomes a problem. Before I go any further, please subscribe. Hit that like button down below. Let me know what you think about this video. Again, this is a mistake that I made. It's a mistake that I believe everyone has to make and learn. I didn't have as many intrusive thoughts as many other people, primarily urges and sensations. There's no difference. Whatever you're experiencing, whatever you're afraid of, it's going to feel like the worst thing ever. That's how it works. So before I go any further, again, Phil at OCDrecovery.com, and let's talk about why problem solving is a big issue. So OCD, as we all know, will feel as real as it can get. And it will make you feel as just think about cracking the code to the universe. And when you just figure it out, when you just solve it, when you just get that little bit of self-reassurance, it's going to let you off the hook. But it never, ever does let you off the hook, and it never gets you to where you want to go. And it takes a long time. There's almost a rite of passage of the amount of times that you have to fuck this up before you can even give yourself the possibility of saying, this is not working for me. I did not get this right off the bat for a while. I would say most people probably learn even a little bit faster than I did because I am one stubborn motherfucker. And I really wanted to change that about myself, but I had a hard time changing it in the beginning. And I'll give you some examples personally solving. So sensory motor, whatever the sensation is. We'll use the big five just for simplicity. Blinking, breathing, swallowing, saliva, and your heartbeat. So maybe you say, well, everyone breathes. Yeah, but that doesn't matter because you're afraid of noticing that for the rest of your life. You can't say, yeah, but they all blink. Yeah, but this person notices they're breathing when they're running. Yes, you can use that as some basic understanding. But you, my friend, just like me, are afraid of noticing that sensation for the rest of your life, pulling you out of the present moment. It doesn't have to be the big five. It could be anything. For me, it was like one of them was boom. I can't concentrate. I am just so unfocused. Boom, boom. It felt like someone was like cracking a whip over my eyes. The heaviness, boom. Yeah, but like, look at them. They're blinking and they don't even, no, not going to work. Until you accept your worst case scenario, decrease compulsions and avoidance behaviors, and everything else included, whatever the fear cycle, that is going to be your journey. Let's use the body dysmorphia, specifically the fear of not having any muscle. I would look at people, and in my mind, it'd have a trigger, and I would be smoking a cigar with a friend who was really unhealthy. I'd say, well, look at this guy. He's so unhealthy. He doesn't give a shit about the way he looks. That internal dialogue of speaking back to my trigger. Sam and I were on a guilt call the other day, and Sam said something that seems so drastic, so black and white, but it's absolutely spot on. Even responding back to your triggers with one word, no. That's all it takes. No. Talking back to triggers in a moment like that is enough to lead you to a life of OCD suffering, where your gravestone will say, rest in peace, Nick Piniella died with OCD because he would not stop problem solving in his mind. This is one of the largest compulsions, and it is going to feel like an absolute risk to not do this. And it's a skill. There's a reason I call it a skill, because that's what it is. It takes a long time to build that skill, to build that muscle, to build that resilience of having urges, thoughts, images, but the urge to solve and not solving it and feeling distracted in your mind. You don't need the power of now. You don't need to worry about the present moment. You just have to move forward, feel distracted, and stop solving and feel very confused. And this works really well for non-sufferers too. This idea that you can lock down the present moment to get yourself out of rumination in your mind and focus on 5 things you could touch, 5 things you could smell, it's just not even a good idea. And there's no philosophical depth with it. And it's not even really skillful. Skillful is feeling distracted, knowing you have no control over your neurology, no control in the moment of your belief systems, and no control over what your beliefs throw at you. Feeling that, having the distraction happen, being ripped out of the present moment, but you keep soldiering on, doing what you're doing. And if your brain brings you back to the present moment, so be it. If it keeps you out of the present moment for an extended period of time, so be it. Trying to solve that, again, is the problem. So, but I would look at these people and I would think, oh my gosh, look at them. They're this. That didn't matter because Nick, was afraid of not having muscle. Nick, was afraid of not looking the way I want to look. It didn't matter what other people had because I myself was petrified of that worst case scenario. That is why it took so long to wrap my head around that. And that goes for anything. I'm telling you right now. Yeah, but this person wouldn't do that. Yeah, but my friends said they wouldn't do that. Yeah, but my parents said no, they would. It doesn't matter what anyone says. All that matters is what you believe about your worst case scenario, and applying acceptance doesn't mean agreement over a long period of time and decreasing that solving. How many people are going to more than likely engage when some level of problem solving in their mind 12 months after their first one-to-one, even if they've read all the books and they've changed their life, to say that they will never do it again at 12 months? Low. It's just low. That doesn't mean you're not going to be in a much better spot, but you might slip up, spike up some symptoms and be like, fuck, and have to get back on the wagon a little bit. Show yourself compassion there. We don't have to create secondary and tertiary belief systems, which humans do. Oh my God. Primary problem, solving in your mind. Secondary problem, beating yourself up for solving in your mind. Tertiary problem, being depressed that you got angry. You see what I mean? It's the flow. But you can take those away by just fucking up and then moving on. Which again is a skill. These are all different skill sets. That's why it takes so long to recover. Trust me. I love the ambition. I love when people say, well, Nick, I know I'm not going to solve anymore. Yes, you are. It's okay. You're going to still do compulsions. You're still going to engage in avoidance behaviors from here and there. I can engage in avoidance behavior and a compulsion now. I'm not afraid of doing it. So there's no fear cycle aligned with that, the fear of fear. But, I'm telling you, the main thing that you got to remember is the skill, how long it takes to stop doing this, feeling confused in your mind. Let it scream at you. I always use the rain example. Easier said than done. When you're walking outside, you're feeling the rain hit you. You're not speaking back to is that rain? Is it acid coming from there? Is that lava? What is that? What's the size of the raindrop? If you're doing that, you got a big problem. You're just feeling the rain hit you and you're running to your car. You're just walking in the rain, depending on how hard it's raining. You're in a music festival, jumping in the rain, and you just feel the rain. You can feel the rumination hitting you. You can feel it screaming at you, and you don't have to engage. Phil at OCDrecovery.com. This is more than likely the number one thing that keeps people stuck. I know people that have no avoidance really at all. Their life looks really good. They're getting promotions at work. They're having children. Their life is going well. And they will not give this up because it seems so innocent and they're still very stuck. So hope to see you soon. You can do this. Enjoy the rest of your day.